Hi everybody, my name is Shion and I'm back today with a new video. So if you guys have not seen my first part of this two-part, not really part thing that I'm doing, in my first half I did a pink PS2 modding and unboxing, so I will have that linked in the tab and down below if you would like to watch it. This second part is me going through all of my PS2 Japanese games that I got while I was on exchange in Japan. Over a year ago now, I have not had time to play all of these. I am a full-time university student, so making this video did take a very long time from the start of fall semester to halfway through summer semester for me just to test and play all of these games. So if you guys could pretty please give this video a thumbs up, that would be great. Also, because I noticed that most of my viewers are male. Crazy! I thought I would be attracting the girlies with my pink thumbnails, but apparently not. No judgment or anything. Pink is an amazing color. But because of that, the original format of this video was visual novels first, which are more like romance games. Then the second half was going to be horror games that I got because I like horror games. But because I noticed my demographic, I have decided to switch it. So if you notice a weird shift in between the two segments, I'm really sorry. I tried to transition them, but I've already edited this video so much. So I just tried to make it work. Most of these games, except for the visual novels, I think have English ports. It will all be actually in the caption down below to see if you can actually play these in English. If you guys have watched any of my previous videos, you may know that I am a huge fan of these two genres, horror and romance. Of course, separate. I do not like my horror with my romance. It's a little fucked up, too fucked up for me. So a lot of these games are either horror games or romance games. For all of these games, I played them on my PS2 connected to my PC via capture card via HDMI. I didn't find any really glaring quality issues. The only issue that I did have with some of my games was the exposure. And this is like just the thing with a lot of PS2 games, is that they make a lot of these horror games extremely dark. It's like the developers didn't even want you to see the game, which is a little sad because a lot of them were actually really detailed. So just for transparency, I did play almost all of my horror games, I think actually all of them, with some sort of filter via OBS, and I did change in I think 2 cases my actual screen settings just because the games were so dark. It was really hard for me to see. I just wanted to throw that out there just so you guys know, if the games look very dark to you, it's because they are. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. If you want to know anything else about these games, please let me know. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. Project Zero. So for those who don't know, Fatal Frame in Japanese is called Zero. The story opens with 2 twin sisters, Mio and Mayu, walking through the forest, which seems to be like a childhood play spot for them. This area that they're in is actually going to become a dam, so the 2 sisters are just reminiscing about their childhood here. While they're hanging out, Mio notices that her sister appears to be following some crimson butterflies, and chasing after her, the 2 girls are, I guess, spirited away to the Lost Village. In my opinion, this is one of the prettiest PS2 games. It looks really good, and an HD version of this game does exist, and it does also look really good. The spooks in this game are very classic Japanese horror. Lots of ghosts and jump scares. The main mechanic for defeating these ghosts is a camera obscura. Let's open it. Do I have to? Oh, I do. Oh, it disappears like that. I guess you take pictures of ghosts and the ghosts get absorbed into the camera or something like that. I'm not too sure. It is the second game in the franchise. You don't necessarily have played the first game to enjoy this game since it's its own story, but it does build onto the overall lore of the franchise. So yeah, I actually can't wait to play all the way through Fatal Frame or Project Zero. Minna Daisuki Katamari, or Everyone Loves Katamari. I don't even know how to explain this one. This is the king, this is the prince, this is a Katamari, and the prince must create a big Katamari to please the king or else lasers. Despite my short explanation of this game, it's actually a lot of fun, and bonus points because the disc is pink and looks so pretty in the PS2. Basically, you're a little dude that goes around rolling up a bunch of random things in a bunch of really uniquely created levels. It's kind of just like a big joke game. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't played a Katamari game, highly recommend it. So Siren was my first time playing a Japanese horror game in Japanese. The first thing you might think when you see this game is, oh my god, the faces, why do they look like that? This is because the director of this game actually did scans or photos, like multiple photos of people's faces to make the characters more realistic and have like more realistic emotions or something like that. So there were actors for this game, which I thought was pretty cool. The whole production behind this game is actually super cool. You start off with Kyoya Soda wandering around the woods until suddenly he witnesses a girl seemingly commit murder. He follows her and Loki runs into like a full cult. Inevitably he's discovered and is on the run from people shooting at him. Honestly, the spoken Japanese wasn't too difficult to understand. I think this is because so far there was a lot of anime-esque cliches in it. However, the written language is a bit more difficult because of the game's themes. It kind of plays like Silent Hill or Fatal Frame so far, except instead of a radio or camera, Kyoya has this weird sight ability, which is super unique for gameplay. I actually really enjoyed my time with Siren so far and can't wait to play more. Also, this game is available in English, although the disc prices are super expensive, but it's actually available on PlayStation Plus Retro tier, so I would recommend checking it out if you're into horror games, specifically PS2 era. The controls weren't too bad for this one, so yeah, definitely recommend. So this game is Biohazard Outbreak, or Resident Evil Outbreak. Yes, the Japanese name for Resident Evil is Biohazard. And yes, the intro for these games do say Biohazard instead of Resident Evil. Biohazard. I don't know how I feel about that. So in this game, it seems like you can pick from a bunch of characters and play their story. All the menus are in English, including the voice acting. Why is it in English? I mean, it's nice, but it's kind of weird. Or like a Japanese game.
There's a disruption earlier at today's football match between the Raccoon Sharks and the Old Boy Thunders. Apparently the game was interrupted when an unruly fan got out of control.
I forgot Resi games are originally English audio. But all the gameplay menus and explanations are in Japanese. I actually really enjoyed the small part that I played of this game. The voice acting and overall opening was so funny and just so classic Resi to me. The controls I found to be very tank, which I am pretty used to because I play a lot of these games, and it is to be expected with Resident Evil games. However, I did find the controls to this one to be quite slippery. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Apparently the zombie elephants in this game, which I really want to see. So I will definitely be returning to Biohazard. It just sucks because the Japanese is quite difficult for me to read in this game, both just because of the font used and because of the vocabulary. So it's difficult for me to read the lore notes, especially when zombies are coming after you and trying to kill you. I don't know if I would recommend this one to people who are not comfortable in Japanese or not, so yeah. Silent Hill 2 is a classic that needs no introduction, but did you know it's one of the only English-supported PS2 games? All the Japanese Silent Hill PS2 games have an English support option. Oh, and just to be transparent, I am playing with a bunch of filters on OBS, so I could actually see the game because it was so dark. You play as James, who has come to Silent Hill looking for his sick wife. In my opinion, Silent Hill 2 has the best overall story out of any Silent Hill game. I know, I'm generic. It's also a great entry point into PS2 gaming or the PlayStation 2 or through emulation because what the fuck are the disc prices? Everything from the story to the graphics to the sound design. Holy shit, the sound design in this game is amazing. Your goal basically is to solve puzzles on a multitude of difficulties and follow clues throughout Silent Hill to find your missing wife. Also, the fighting mechanics are absolute shit in the game, which is point, and bring a different type of gameplay that you don't really see now in modern games, even compared to the new one. Instead of killing enemies, you're very pushed to avoid and run past them. Also, I just love the voice acting in this game. James is just everything. But yeah, if you're wanting to play Silent Hill 2 on original hardware, I would suggest buying a Japanese copy and playing on a Japanese or modded PS2 because it's way cheaper than the North American prices. Like, what the fuck, actually? Or you could, of course, emulate it. The Silent Hill community is actually crazy and has put a lot of work into an amazing HD ROM of this game. So either way, I would just recommend giving this game a try if you haven't actually played it before, or at least watching somebody else play it. So, yeah. Oh, this might be a little bit overexposed. I think we're just going to have to live with the L's being super exposed. Also, just to show again, these games do have a English option here. And, oh, this one has more than one language option. Who knew? I didn't. I'm pretty sure Silent Hill 2 only had English and Japanese as options, and this one has quite a few, so good to know. Mall toilet. What a great place to save. So actually ended up getting both Silent Hill games from the same Medicuddy buyer, which costed like 5,000 yen, which is really good for these games. Gameplay wise, I like 3 a lot more. The controls are just better in my opinion. Silent Hill 3's story feels like it relates a lot more to the very first Silent Hill game, which, you know, makes sense in my opinion, considering the story. Also, Heather is such a funny character. She's lively and sassy, which I love.
Stay back! Get the hell away from me!
Shoot him! Shoot him! They also like kind of poke fun at James a bit in this game. This was like the golden period of Silent Hill, so I would recommend to anyone who's beginning to get into PS2 stuff to play at least one of these classic games. Silent Hill 4 is also okay, but it's a lot more tedious than 2 or 3 in my opinion. My play session of Silent Hill 3 ended when the game crashed, sadly, which was really shitty because I had just made it out of the hallway. It was full of monsters without getting hit, and I was just really proud. So holy shit, with no damage, so you know it's gonna be a good night. Yeah, big sad moment here. This was the only game that freezed though during my whole testing of these games, so I don't know what happened or why this happened. It was really sad though. Say that opening went so hard. So Will-O-Wisp is like the first Japanese exclusive Otome game that I really wanted to play when I was younger. And that's mainly because the artist is Usoba Kakedo. I've worked on the art for a bunch of other games and I just really like their style, but Will-O-Wisp's art direction really stands out to me, and apparently a bunch of other people online too. We are introduced to the Hinori, which is Hina. She's a doll maker in training. We learned that Hina's grandfather, who was also a doll maker, grandmother had passed away, Hina and her doll maid named Emily decide to sneak into her dead grandpa's workshop where they come across a special sleeping doll. His name is Will. In this game, there are these things called elemental dolls that were made by some very almighty high-ranking doll makers called, I think, the Shamrocks. So unlike Emily, who will inevitably stop working, Will is basically immortal. Emily doesn't seem to really like Will because he has like a bit of a high and mighty personality. He's also very blunt to Hina. I only finished day 1 by the end of my game session. I found the text to be fairly easy to read. There are some difficult words every now and again to add to like the London theme of the game. And the fact that my keigo isn't super good, sometimes they use keigo. So oh, and there's also love catch in this game, which I really appreciate because I like picking choices, but I don't like looking up walkthroughs. Okay, I think I'm gonna end my little test of Will-O-Wisp there. For you guys, it's only a couple clips, but I was actually like getting really into the game. I will probably replay the prologue just because I am, just for the sake of my own sanity and editing, I am kind of skipping through some of the dialogue that I don't understand. I understand the whole story so far. It's just words that I don't know. I'm kind of just skipping through. But yeah, this game is actually so fun so far. So I'm also just going to test the fan disc for this game. I don't want to spoil myself, so I'm not going to play much of it. Will-O-Wisp Easter no Kiseki is the fan disc or the sequel to Will-O-Wisp, and I was reading some online reviews about this game because I didn't get very far in it because I didn't want to spoil myself, but apparently a lot of fans don't actually like this game very much. The main reason for this seems to be due to them kind of retrospecting the original ending, so it feels a little out of place. From what I understand and from what I played, there's this special period where the dolls will become human and change form, so this is about that. Also, for Yuri and GL fans, apparently Emily is a semi-romanceable character in this game. She's not in the first game, so it's nice to see her love for Hina isn't always one-sided. Also, while I was researching for this game, because I was kind of confused with the plot I was reading because I didn't finish the first game and I was trying not to spoil myself, I stumbled across the original website for this game, which is just crazy. I don't know. So this is going to be a short review. So the next game I played was Hakushaku to Yousei, Yume to Kizuna ni Omoi o Hasete. This is the Earl and the Fairy game that I did talk about and was super excited for in my Morioka video, but unfortunately, it was not very good. I could only get through a part of the prologue. I couldn't even finish it. This was because a lot of the game that I had played was just a recap of the anime, and it was really boring. Also, the music was like funny at first, but then it started to like slowly drive me crazy. And I kind of will talk about it in my live reaction, but I found the language like kind of difficult to read. It wasn't like super difficult, but it was just really boring. I don't know what they were going for, but I didn't enjoy it, especially compared to like the next game, which was Crimson Empire, which has a lot more difficult dialogue. I found it easier to get through that because I found purpose in like what I was doing. I was inspired to play. This was not inspiring to play. Like, I did not enjoy this game, so when I took a break, I just didn't come back. So admittedly, I took a break and never came back to Earl and the Fairy because I didn't really want to play it. And so far, it's just been a kind of recap of the anime, and that just might be the prologue. I also found the language in it quite difficult for me to understand, and I think that's just because they are trying to use flowery language, which led us into our next VN, which is Crimson Empire. Crimson Forgotten Empire is a dark kind of RPG-esque visual novel. Play as a girl named Sheila. She was basically a slave that was sold off to Curtis Neal. He's an L.I. yandere character from Arabian Lost. Basically, he tells Sheila that she has to prove that she can stay and work as an assassin in his guild. Oh, she also makes a deal with a creepy devil guy who she sold her soul to. Basically, Sheila has a lot of shit going on. His name is Michael, and if you thought the Rin and Sashomaru relationship was bad, then you are not prepared for this whole dumpster fire of a relationship with Michael. It's hell. He literally takes us to hell. It's your first time now. Oh my god. What is this? What am I playing? The game kind of fast forwards a couple years into the future when Sheila is more grown up. Her and her two assassin guild friends are working a job in the desert and they come close to death. Curtis kind of saves them, but also lets Sheila know that she has been sold off to the royal palace since she doesn't really make a good assassin. Although she tries to fight back against this, her efforts are put in vain very quickly. Sometime later, when she's kind of starting to get into her role of becoming a maid, a fight breaks out in the palace. Some people are trying to kill Prince Edward, who I definitely am not a fan of. Oh my god, it's just like real life. Like, do men know any other compliments? Basically, after this day, Sheila becomes Edward's personal bodyguard. Now, after some thorough explanation, the game system is explained to us. From what I understand, we can meet a character each day and accept a task, or kind of like a quest, and sometimes those tasks involve fighting monsters or investigating assassination plots, stuff like that. We're also introduced to the fighting system, which in my opinion seems pretty straightforward and simple, but I have heard it gets very difficult. There's actually versions of this game where I believe they completely removed this RPG mechanic system. I stopped my play session after the first fight introduction, so I didn't get too much into it, but I can see how it is confusing because they throw a lot of information at you at once. So the last visual novel system game that I'm going to play is going to be a game called Real Road, and this game I got because the artist is Yura, and I actually have one of her art books. I had actually gotten her light side art book years and years ago, and she does quite a lot of visual novel stuff, and I think her work is absolutely beautiful. I remember when I was younger and I bought this book, she worked on a game called Love Revolution, I believe is the name of it, and I really wanted to play that for years. And there's actually an unofficial English translation which I have never played, so maybe I'll do a video about that at some point. I think that game also has a system, but I'm not sure. But my point is that she is the artist for this game as well. Her work is very noticeable, like the way she draws, so I thought I would check it out. It says that there is like some sort of RPG system in it, so I'm actually very excited. The manual goes really in depth, so I'm a little bit scared because it looks a lot more gameplay-esque. I am not good at reading instructions in English, let alone Japanese, so... Oh my god, Unix! It's a Unix game! So for those who don't understand the reason why I got so excited here, it's because Unix is behind one of my most favorite otome games, which is Steam Prison. So the game starts off with our character Nina at school. She's a well-loved, good student. She has lots of friends and a new boyfriend. I think he's new, named Naoya. Weird Japanese name I've never heard before. But he and Nina seem to get along pretty well. But Nina has a secret. She is actually a huge gaming otaku. She loves video games, and this is something that Naoya and I think the other people around her don't really know. It's kind of like Umura-chan from Himoto, how she kind of keeps her like video game nerdy life a little bit of a secret. But Nina's like this, specifically with her boyfriend. Since he's really popular and he's like good at tennis and stuff, she doesn't really want him to know. However, one day Naoya comes over to go see Nina unexpectedly, just as she was playing Railroad. Oh, I get to pick. Can I save? Okay, obviously the black country, Kuro no Kuni, with Deus, because black-haired characters are better than blondes in my opinion. With very limited exceptions. To make a kind of confusing long story short, they are both sucked into the game and they're separated. While Nina is wandering around and wondering what to do, she ends up meeting Keith, who introduces her to Prince Daius. This is when we can kind of explore the Black Country and we're introduced to the overworld system and the fighting mechanics for this game, which seem okay. After I was done this gaming session, I found Breadmaster Lee's English mechanics or like a gameplay guide for this game, and she made it so much more clear than the game did and the Japanese game guides that I saw. It's just a lot of text and it was a little bit confusing because I didn't know the name of all the systems, and her guide just made it so much more clear. Apparently your levels also carry over each time you finish a character's route, which is so nice to know. Her guide is one of the only English things I've seen for this game, so if you're interested in any of the characters or playing this game for yourself, I've linked it down below. Okay, so that was a lot of games. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much. Like I said before, I got all of these games are from Japan. I bought these all with my own money. I loved almost all of the games. Of course, there's always some duds, but for the amount I've paid for these games, like I paid 200 yen for some of these games, which is crazy because you just will not find that in Canada. But I hope that you guys at least enjoyed a little bit of this video and that maybe you became interested in some of these games and maybe even inspired you to practice your Japanese, because visual novels are a great way to practice Japanese because nothing's trying to kill you while you're trying to read lore notes. I know I've been doing a lot of gaming content on this channel and I do want to like dip into my other passions, so there will be some like anime videos coming in the future. Please stick around if you're interested into like stuff like that. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye!